You ready to do this thing?
Let's get into it. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sweaty Casuals, brought to you by the Snowflake Sanctuary Discord server. This is a podcast where we usually talk about the games that we love to play, from the state of ranked systems to our thoughts on the newest sensations and everything in between. My name is Nox, and along with my co-host Zach, we will be your guides as we traverse Elo Hell. As a small reminder, we do swear, so viewer discretion is advised. Today we are joined by Little Red, who we call Gig, from our Discord server and is on Twitch as Strawberry Sims, and also Phoon, who we refer to as Phoon, who is also a member of our Discord server. And they will be joining us today as we discuss the state of single-player gaming and the rise of cozy gamers. So the first question that I have for everyone today, to get us started, is what was the last single-player game you played through for the first time?
That's a great question. I have to think.
Me too.
If anybody else has one, jump in.
It was Stardew Valley for me, actually,
Good one.
because I started playing maybe a couple of months ago, which I know I'm really late to the Stardew Valley scene. It was really sad because I used to be very much into Harvest Moon, and I just did not want to let that go. And I'm so happy I did let that go, because Stardew Valley is just exceeds all expectations that you could want from a game similar to Harvest Moon. But since I've started playing it, I have not stopped, and I've learned how to mod it. And I don't intend to stop. I will grow more powerful every single day.
I know for myself, single-player games that I played versus played through to its entirety are very different. I think the last single-player game I played through to its entirety was Jedi Fallen Order, which was a while ago. It's over a year ago now. Played Jedi Survivor. I've been playing through that one, but we had that whole discussion last episode about how I like to take weeks off and then can't remember how to play the game anymore.
We did.
I
about
don't
you,
feel
Gig?
like I've ever played through any game. So I play a lot of The Sims 4, which you can't really play through. And then same with I played through Animal Crossing's New Horizons, but that game also doesn't really end, and I've had maybe 5 islands at this point. So everything that I've been playing is really ongoing all the time, and I just destroy everything when I get bored and start over.
Animal Crossing is one of those games that I've probably put some of the most hours I've ever put into that game when I had my Switch. But
Yeah.
same thing. Once you get to a certain point, you're like, well, what else is there, really?
Yeah. Just burn the world down and start over.
Right. Can only
think
collect
my
so many
l-
fossils.
I think the last game I finished that I played through for the first time was Horizon Zero Dawn, but I have been going through New Vegas lately.
Fallout 4.
Whoop, whoop.
No, that's 3.
3. I know that one too. Now I just sound stupid.
Yeah. Well, does
It's
The
okay.
Witcher 3
It's on the
count?
internet or anything. Yeah, The Witcher 3 counts.
I played through The Witcher 3 a couple of years ago, and I really liked that, but I haven't played the whole Witcher series.
I've heard that the first 2 are a lot. They're not as polished.
So I hear.
Anyway,
Well-
let's get into it.
Yeah, I guess that brings me to kind of the first thing I wanted to talk about, as someone who doesn't necessarily, most of my time on games isn't with what is considered a cozy game. Obviously, from the content of a lot of these podcasts, you can tell we play a lot of Overwatch, we play a lot of Apex, play a lot of online FPS, competitive modes. So I just kind of wanted to, as someone who has dabbled in the cozy game with Animal Crossing, and I think even some of the, I don't know, would you consider Pokemon games cozy games?
Yeah.
I play
Depending
too
on the
sweatily.
game, I would say yeah.
I play way too sweatily.
I guess how I categorize, I would say when I played through Arceus, I would consider that a cozy game, except I was scared shitless most of the time. But I guess like I kind of want to discuss like what's the draw? Like why do you keep going back to them? Why do you play them so long when you've played through Animal Crossing one time through and you get to that point and you're like, why would I play it again? You know?
I think for me, it's because I like to play a game for the storyline in general, but once the storyline's over, there isn't anything more, and then I always feel like I have this void. So I like some of these kind of world building games, like mostly cozy games, because you can start it over so many times, so you can like build your own plot. So it feels like the game just has more content in it to me. And then once I get used to a game and love it, then I get to play it forever without it feeling like I've already done everything.
By you, Phoon.
Do you repeat the question really quick?
Yeah. So like what's the draw to having games that there is no end?
Addiction. Also, I think that there are a lot of specifically cozy games that it's it's good if you get bored because there's ways you can like modify it and keep yourself entertained. Again, Stardew Valley, there's there's the new update which I think added a lot to the game. That got a lot of people that I know who didn't play it for a while back into it. But once you quickly defeat all of the things you need to do, you can add mods to the game. Same thing with Sims 4. I think if there's components that allows you to keep creating, it becomes more engaging. And I think sometimes the games are just really immersive, like Skyrim. I think we've already talked about my thousands of orphans on this podcast, but
Yes.
it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I really like this, and now I can add extra features. So I'm just gonna keep doing it. Maybe I'll turn the dragons into Thomas the Tank. I'm feeling kind of spicy today, you know?
Would
I
we
would
put
also
Minecraft
like
in this category?
I would say so.
I
Yes.
agree.
Yeah.
I would also like to amend my answer to the icebreaker question in terms of what's the last single player game you played through because I completely blocked out my entire 3 months of playing Baldur's Gate.
Oh,
Yeah.
Played a lot of Baldur's Gate,
A little bit.
but it's kind of that same draw with the mods of you play through it, you love the story, you love what you do, you get through. I know I did my honor run with Caramel and Bandito, but now I can go make my Akatar characters real in Baldur's Gate and give them wings and
Oh
make
my
them all
gosh.
look like them. And it's Baldur's Gate I have a hard time with. I haven't played it a lot since I've modded it because I think there's only so much you can change to the game without it. Like, yeah, they all look different, but it's the same game.
Are the Bat Boys not enough?
Well, I did make the Bat Boys. Excuse you. There's a picture in the Discord.
I'm gonna have to go look that up again.
I do have the Bat Boys. If Zach finds it and wants to edit it into this video, feel free. They're there. I made them all. It's a little weird because actually, it's a quick funny story with these mods. If you're not familiar with the Bat Boys, they are part of the SJM Akatar universe. They are 3 characters that you meet named Reese, Azrael, and Cassian, and they all have wings, and they're all Fae, and it's wonderful, and I love them to death. So I made them in Baldur's Gate. The problem is it was a mod so that I could change the appearance of your party characters. But the problem was when I actually made them, I didn't realize. So, for example, I turned Astarion into Azrael. That's a bad example. I turned somebody who was shorter into Cassian, who is canonically a very tall, large character. So the game didn't realize that I made them different heights and updated their heights. So when the camera angle went to them, I was just looking at their chest, which was really funny.
I was gonna say there's no problem here.
It's also very funny hearing. I remember I changed Gale into Cassian. The thing with that is Gale is not Cassian, but it's all his voice lines. It's still his voice actor. So like I think I had this big grand vision for what I was making, and then there's only so much a game can do. Like
Modders, get
anyway,
on it.
I just need voice actors to redo the entire Baldur's Gate in those characters.
Yeah.
In those for those characters. But anyway, sorry, that was my tangent, and I'm gonna stop talking about Baldur's Gate.
Give it a little more time. Wait until the Hulu show comes out. I'm sure the modding community will go crazy.
The Hulu show that may or may not happen.
There's a Hulu show?
It's in the works.
Okay.
Apparently, SJM was seen having coffee with Margot Robbie a few months ago.
Yes.
Which is exciting. They should still make a Throne of Glass movie series first, but that's my hot take. Anyway, I got us really off track. But Zach, if we're classifying Pokemon as cozy games,
I don't think we should, but sure.
Okay, so taking them out, have you ever, what are other cozy games that you've played?
Oh, Minecraft. Way too much Minecraft. I've played so much Minecraft. And thinking about this episode ahead of time, I'm of the age where I remember Farmville. I remember the insanity that was. I remember... It was scary. So, within, the first... That would have been, within, the first year or two that Facebook was, actually out and big. Everyone played Farmville. Everyone played it. Everyone you invited you to their farm. None of us knew what the hell we were doing. All of us looked at it and said, we're not paying money for this. But everyone did it. There was a Sims that you could play on Facebook too. And everybody did all of those games. And now Zynga, who made all of them, is out of business because nobody plays games on Facebook.
Who thought that was a good idea?
Nobody knew what Facebook was at that time, so...
Well, at the time, I remember when that Sims Social one came out, other Sims players were really excited about it because it's now I can finally play with my friends. Yay. Because, who didn't have sleepovers when you're 13 years old with, your closest girlfriends making all of yourselves as Sim characters and ruling the world? So it was really exciting, and then we actually played it, and it was absolutely terrible.
I don't remember the Sims Social. What was that? What did it include?
Probably before your time, Nox.
I mean, it was
I'm not the youngest one here today.
No, but...
Is it me?
Yeah.
That was another early, trying to think, that was probably 2008, 2009 Facebook game.
Yeah, but
it didn't
what did
last long.
What
it was
it
just The Sims.
A lot. You could call people.
You could build everything too?
No, it
you couldn't build
have
everything,
a lot of features.
but yeah, then that was one of the big issues with it. But you could build a house, and there were some options. You could still make your person. I think the big thing was there was not a lot of interactivity.
I think too that the people that I saw getting excited about it were actual intense sim gamers. So for their level of what they need to enjoy something, that wasn't going to be it. Maybe your mom might find it fun to play who doesn't have experience making expansive creations in The Sims, but for somebody who does that, it wasn't it.
I feel like that's kind of how Pocket Sims is now, the mobile version of Sims, where for people who play The Sims, it's missing a lot, but I feel like it serves enough of a purpose. So people that aren't into The Sims, because it's kind of a big investment, can kind of dip their toe in a little bit into some of those games and get a little bit of a feel of it, which is nice. So it lets the people who are crazy about these games kind of share their enjoyment with people who might not enjoy the full version as much.
Bill, do you have any experience with the Pocket version of Animal Crossing?
I don't. My Animal Crossing experience before New Horizons was, I think it was called New Leaf. We rented it back when you could rent games from stores that are now shut down. But we rented it for the Wii, and me and my sister used to play that a lot. But New Horizons is quite a bit different than New Leaf was.
That was a game that it came out at the right time.
Really well timed.
And it wasn't, none of it was intentional, unless Nintendo's actually nefarious, but
That was the reason I have so many hours on the game. Is that
Oh,
it
yeah.
came out, I got it, my parents got it for me for my birthday when I was stuck in my house in spring of 2020, and I decided to not do schoolwork, and instead I played Animal Crossing for 10, 12 hours a day.
I played
Which is
Minecraft.
Yeah. Which is kind of the nice thing about a lot of those cozy games like Minecraft or The Sims or Stardew, where the game has changes here and there, but in general, the game as it is can last for so long that you can still have nostalgia with a game. Like play a game for a long time and years later enjoy the game again and be able to have that bit of nostalgia.
Which is why I
Minecraft.
think, like Minecraft, it's why we go on stints with Minecraft.
I was gonna say Minecraft is a scary one
Yeah.
because you can come back to it basically at any point and install a couple mods, and oh my god, the whole game is different. All of it's different. I just sent a TikTok to someone. I was like, "Hey, you can go add all the How to Train Your dragons into the game."
News to me.
You have my attention.
Right? Like that just sounds fun. Sorry. I'm gonna go lose my life for another month now. Bye.
Right.
I'm gonna go recreate the entire town of Burke.
And then never play it again for
Yep.
6 months.
Or longer.
I think that's what gets Minecraft is a good example of why I think I have experience with cozy games, but don't make them something that I play very often. I enjoy my games to have a ton of interactivity with other people. So Minecraft, when we have a server running and there's 12 of us in a world together, all messing around, it's super fun.
Until the server crashes.
Yeah, I haven't been in during a server crash, I don't think, which is nice. But those games, I think I played The Forest for a while, which is
Mhm.
not a cozy game, but a single
No.
player work through with other people. But I think like The Forest is like if like here's Stardew Valley and The Sims and Animal Crossing, here's Minecraft, and then here's The Forest. Like it's kind of like it's that survival. Maybe
Sons
I'm
of the
going out on a
Forest?
limb. The original one.
Oh,
It's
Me,
like
Bunny,
I
and
didn't know there
Bandito played a.
was one.
Yes, you did.
I did not. I
Oh
played
my
Sons
god.
of the Forest, but I didn't know there was any context with it.
Yeah, there's a whole first game.
Oh,
it's like Animal Crossing, but with cannibals.
Yes. Me, Bandito, Phoon, and Bunny played a lot of The Forest for a while. That's another one of those things when I get into like a Animal Crossing game. It's like, yeah, that's great. I'm bored. It's just me.
Yeah.
mm,
I think sometimes it is kind of nice to just have your own little. I'm gonna go off and build something. Even if it's within that server context. My sister Marcy, and Drazzle, who's in the server, had a whole thing when we were doing. So during the pandemic, I think we've talked about it on the show once before. We did a Pixelmon server, which is Minecraft with Pokemon. But they had a point where for like 2 weeks straight, they were like, "We want to build something, and we want to do it in straight survival. We don't want any of the creative acts. We want to go mine all the resources and do it. And we wanted to build this castle, and it was a big castle, massive. It's probably like 8 by 8 chunks, probably like 64 chunks. Like it took them a long time. They spent about 2 weeks working on it, and they were on there every day for hours and hours. Granted, none of us had anything else to do, but it was just a way for them to just be like, we're gonna go spend all of this time working on this thing, and we want to see what the result's gonna be.
Hmm.
And it was exciting.
I feel like that's some of my draw to the cozy games, is that there aren't other people in the world. 'Cause, I mean, I don't know, even Minecraft, I play almost exclusively on creative mode, because I think that's part of why I didn't love Stardew Valley right away. Like, I don't want there to be a constant impending threat of death and survival. I just wanna build pretty houses, you know?
There's a impending threat of death in Stardew Valley?
There
Sometimes.
shouldn't be, but every time I go into those caves,
Yep.
I end up passing out, and I wake up in my home, no idea how I got there, and robbed. So, there is.
Hey, don't forget about the extortion as well. When Dr. Harvey, who you can marry, charges you $1,000. Even when you marry him, he's still charging you $1,000. It's like, when married, you would think we'd have a joint bank account, but not with Harvey. Just putting that out there as a question for who everyone says Harvey's the best husband in the game.
I'm not super familiar with uh Tom Nook. Crap, the game.
Ugh,
Okay, Animal
you're always
Crossing's
in
New
debt.
Animal Crossing.
Horizons.
But Tom
Tom
Nook
Nook is the
charges
worst.
ridiculous prices.
But you don't marry Tom Nook. You marry
Sims,
Harvey. You have his
Unfortunately.
children.
everything is expensive in Sims, right?
I rosebud my way through Sims,
Yeah.
so I have no idea.
What is Rosebud?
So there's a whole line of cheats that you can use in The Sims. Rosebud is kind of the classic. Motherload gets you more money. So you can also just do a set money cheat. Um, so set your money to whatever you want. Um, which is why people, same as what we were talking about before, the issue of like um getting bored of a game and wanting to change things up and have a little bit more challenge. There's a lot of challenges that people run in The Sims for, like a rags to riches, because everyone's so used to hacking their money through so that they don't need to actually raise money to pay for
Mhm.
anything.
So what I'm determining is one of the key traits of a cozy game is extortion. You
Yeah,
need to be getting extorted.
gotta be realistic somehow.
Yeah, because Tom Nook drops you on an island and he's like, here's a tent. You owe me $1 million. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, you want walls? Cough up another million, kiddo.
You want a Brit? Also, when I played Animal Crossing, I don't know if this is a thing. I think Sims it doesn't apply. I don't know if this happens in Stardew Valley. Did you ever time travel when you played Animal Crossing?
Absolutely.
Constantly.
Because I found when I first played the game, I didn't
Really?
because I was playing it every day for 12 hours. So I didn't need to time travel because I was getting everything done. I'd wake up the next morning and new things would reset.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I found when I actually started time traveling, I got bored of the game faster because things started
Really?
happening so much faster. So if you're not familiar, there's things I think of the bridges. The bridges were the worst because the bridges you'd have to cough up a ton of fucking money
So much
to
money.
buy them so you could cross a damn river on your island. And then you'd have to wait 2 days because someone's building it. We don't know who, we never see.
But
But
it's there one day.
it's there one
Yeah.
day. I used to time travel all the time to get new villagers.
Mhm.
I remember villager hunting was a huge thing. I will still sit and watch people like old Twitch streams of people villager hunting.
Yes.
Fun fact too about Animal Crossing, there was a villager black market that existed on Reddit and in Discord servers where you could trade goods in the game to buy sought after villagers. I was a rich woman because I accidentally stumbled into like 3 really sought after villagers that I didn't want. Because all I wanted was my island to be all the dogs. I just wanted all the dog villagers. So all the sought after ones I was able to get really rich by selling them on the black market.
Can we talk about the corruption of cozy games? Because it goes so much further than that with Animal Crossing, and I am guilty of this. There are websites where you can pay somebody actual money, and they will bring over gold or items or recipes or all of these things that would usually take a while to get. You can pay them real money, and an actual human being will receive that money, and they have these islands just full of stuff that they've gotten, however they've gotten it, and they will load up their inventory, hop on a plane, and fly to your island and drop it all off in your island. There is like a full black market going on in Animal Crossing New Horizons.
I mean, that's a
I've
general.
used it.
That's
What'd you pay for?
Um, okay, so I had beaten the game, so you get to like a 3-star island, and I wanted to do more creative things. And to do that, you have to build, well, I had to build a lot of bridges and build a lot of inclines, which cost a lot of money. It also takes a long time to get recipes to build stuff that you want. And so I bought a bedroom set that I wanted and some walls because wallpaper's hard to find good ones. And I used all of the money to build all of my bridges and inclines and finally pay off that loan so Tom Nook would get off my ass. I don't regret it. It was like $20 maybe.
Speaking of the bridges, I think this is the worst feature in Animal Crossing. How come it never perfectly lined up with anything? It was only
I
like
know.
one square off. You're spending all that freaking money doing all of these things. Like even what Gil just said about having like this whole black market, all of this thing, all these things to like benefit the game, and the game can't even make perfect squares. It always has to be one off. Like, why? Why would you do that to us?
So excited to terraform when I finally got that ability in the game. To like build, like you could do whatever you wanted with your island. I was so disappointed for that reason. Do you know how hard it is to actually make things look good
So hard.
with that? It's
Mhm.
so difficult.
And so time consuming.
Right. But like I said, I think that's like a lot of that happened with when I started to get to that point of terraforming when I was using the black market to get goods for whatever I was selling. And you get there, you're doing these things, and now it's all easy, and now I'm bored.
Mhm.
And now the game's over and it's not fun anymore. But before I started doing those things, I thought this would be even more fun if I did do the cheats, if I did do the black market. So I don't know. I think that's usually my like dilemma with cozy games is I'm either sad and antsy because I want things to happen faster or I want things to be cheaper or I want to be able to do this. But then once I do things to get those things faster and I cheat my way to it, now it's not fun anymore. So maybe that's just how my brain is wired in that
Yeah.
I can't get my head into that, but I also can't make fun of people for doing the same thing over and over to get further in a game because I play Overwatch. So I play Apex. I load up that game. I'm going to play the same game 20 times over and still have fun sometimes.
We need to get you into more Minecraft.
Minecraft, so I only find Minecraft fun if I'm with people. I've never enjoyed a solo world in Minecraft.
That's fine. It's just I think you need the joy of being like, oh, I'm gonna go do this thing, and then you go like look at a clock, and you go, why is the sun up?
Oh my god, no, I've done that. When we had when the Minecraft server was in its peak, probably 18 months ago, I would say.
Oh yeah, that one world. Yeah, yep.
And it was a vanilla world.
It
but
was. It was.
when we were in the peak of that, I would be down in the mines just mining away for hours. But I had people to talk to, and there were other people in the world. So I don't know.
Minecraft has always scared me with how much time you can get sucked in. I remember very vividly the first time I played. I thought it was a long time ago, but I remember saying goodnight to my dad while I was home from college, and it was 7 p.m. And the next time I looked at a clock, I was like, why is it 7 a.m.? What happened? Where'd the time go? I'm supposed to be awake today. Oh God.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is that kind of the same experience with things like Stardew Valley and The Sims?
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately. I've wasted a crazy amount of wasted might be the wrong word, but I've spent a crazy amount of time in The Sims in one sitting. But that's part of why I like playing single player games, because I feel like if I have other human beings around me, my brain's like, be a human being. You need to eat and sleep and drink water. And if there aren't other humans around me, I get very immersed, which I like in general, to be super, super immersed in a game.
I know one way that I've classified to cozy games, like I think cozy games is a subcategory of this, but in its overarching category, I call them time suck games. So things like we've been talking about Animal Crossing, Sims, Minecraft, Stardew Valley, but I also think of things like Subnautica, anything, the forest, things that you can just play for hours on end. And if you're into it and immersed enough into it, that you just, I think, another one, Slime Rancher is another one that's very similar. That you'll just look at a clock and 4 hours have passed, and you're like, okay, I've been collecting slime for 4 hours. How great.
I feel like I have to separate out sandbox games, some sandbox games.
Hmm.
Because, like, I could classify Kerbal Space Program as a cozy game for me, but I'm not. I don't hate myself that much.
Our sandbox games, I don't know the definition of that. Is it essentially not a cozy game, I'm sorry, a time suck game?
Yeah, well, they're games where you build things.
Like a
So,
free
like
build.
Minecraft is kind of the quintessential sandbox game at this point because that's just literally the entire world is building blocks. Everything's Lego. But a lot of other sandbox games are things where you can set up things to put in motion, or you can build things and put them in motion, or build a world around you. Sims has a lot of sandbox elements to it.
It can.
You know what's a very cozy game for me, but definitely not Zach?
I know what the answer's going to be.
Is it?
Say it
Crusader
out
Kings
loud.
3.
Yeah,
I don't. Is that a cozy game?
for me.
It's so sweaty. Gosh.
So cozy.
Even
Still
like
have
so
not
like
bought that one.
Oh god, it's so
we'll
much
touch on
fun.
that in a second, but like I wouldn't classify Civilization as a cozy game because that's a game that gets sweaty, especially like very beginning and very end of it. Like you've got 1.5 million things you need to do, and you need to constantly be jumping around and figuring out what you want to do. It feels stressful. Crusader Kings, I just always feel stressed because it's like the clock is always moving. I can't really pause because we always do multiplayer, and I have no idea what's going on, what buttons to click, or how to do it because there's 25 bajillion different mechanics and none of them have been explained to me. I'm happy that I know how to start a nation, go to war, and maybe marry off some of my kids.
You know, very valid, but I think your main problem in that game is that you just don't have enough kids. Because that's how you play the game. It's just
I need to
so
get
many
like an
children.
incestuous trait or something.
Yeah,
That's
to
the
any.
through line I've seen with Phoon is if she's playing a cozy game, there's usually a lot of kids involved.
Well, literally, that is how you win Crusader Kings 3. I have no idea how else to get anywhere within that game other than to have children and have them come to power. Because if you don't, then everybody who's not related to you is just going to murder you or try to murder you.
And
So
then there's
that
the
one, I
Pope.
think you do need it.
It's fair. I know one thing with cozy games that like I know I've stated my issues with myself in playing them. I do love watching people play them. Like sitting for
Oh, it can
hours.
be very therapeutic.
I used to watch YouTubers play Minecraft and play Animal Crossing for hours on end. Cuz it is just I think I get the sensation of like losing time and being immersed from watching others play rather than myself. Like I think it's a better feeling for me to observe because I can really just shut my brain off. I don't know.
I'd
Fair.
agree. I know we've talked about Rooster Teeth on the show before, but I used to love watching their Minecraft Let's Plays. That was like what got me into them.
know PewDiePie is a highly debated person. His Minecraft series, holy shit. I think it is one of the best gifts to the internet. To be so honest, that is so chaotic, so fun. If you haven't experienced Jurgen and the chicken and the murder bell, you should. That, because it was a whole joke too when he started doing it. It started as the Minecraft week because people had been begging him for years to play it and he just never did. So it's 2018 and he's learning the game for the first time. And it started as Minecraft week, and then it was Minecraft month, and then before you know it, he has 60 videos playing Minecraft. It's worth your time if you need to turn your brain off and just laugh. But I don't know.
Yogscast was another one.
Yeah. Maybe I'm biased. I enjoy watching Gil stream Stardew Valley.
I do. I enjoy it. It's nice. It's just relaxing. And then my mind gets hyperactive. I'm like, I'm gonna open up Overwatch at the same time.
Yep. That's another thing, making cozy games as non-cozy as possible. Because this is gonna sound so stupid for people who don't play The Sims, but The Sims is arguably a sweaty game. Because if you hear me out, depending on if you're like running challenges and things, there is a lot going on. And also things can die at any moment. I don't know if you've ever tried to have kids in The Sims, but it takes all of the gentle enjoyment out. Your kids are outside, they're being taken away by social services. There's like the pets always die.
CPS can come into Sims?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I just had the Grim Reaper come in and kill all of my chickens. They will kill people. It is a nightmare all of the time, and it can be very sweaty.
I do think it's very funny that the death is like a human-like person in the Grim Reaper in The Sims because you can just see it coming. I think that's the funniest thing ever.
Depending on what you're playing, you can also interact with
Delete the
the Grim
doors. Delete the
Reaper.
doors.
Make more walls. Make more walls.
People in mods and in different versions of The Sims, not The Sims 4, have absolutely flirted with the Grim Reaper. You can add the Grim Reaper to your household. You can marry the Grim Reaper if you want to. World's your oyster, man.
Be casually chatting with your spouse. He'll just be like, "Oh, 1 second." Goes and murders your kid. Anyway.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
I think that's why The Sims has lasted as long as it has.
Yeah.
Because that is truly one of those games where you just, there is so much. I've seen so many challenges over the years.
Yeah.
I think a lot of cozy games just have that trait. I mean, we've talked about Minecraft, which is now 15 years old-ish. Sims, when did the first Sims come out?
Ooh. I can Google it.
Oh my
I'm not
god, it
sure
would
about
have been
Stardew
like
Valley
the
early.
90s.
It probably would have been the 90s. I think it was like
Sims 1.
97, 98.
February
Rumors
4th,
of Sims
2000.
Yeah.
Okay. So 24
So it
years
is
old.
older than me.
I
By a
remember
month.
playing the first.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What was that like?
For my like little 10-year-old brain, I was like instantly addicted. Also like I feel like there were so many elements in the earlier Sims games that we got totally gypped on with The Sims 4. Like, okay, so in the original Sims, there was a way, so there's the sad clown portrait. That's not his name. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
So if you have his portrait on the wall, there is a way that you could make him come through the portrait into real life. So like it, right? And I think he just like danced around your sim, and it was terrifying as a 10-year-old, but also enthralling at the same time.
Yes.
And I feel like that, you know, kind of wackiness continued into Sims 2. There was a lot of weird things you can do. I know that I made multiple Sims perish by bugs eating them. So weird shit that you could have happen to you. And then I feel like we got to Sims 4. It started with Sims 3, but it was really Sims 4 where they came out with the original game and it was very, very, very vanilla to the point it was just disappointing to play. and they've just been making like $30-$40 packs to try to get those features that were so much fun in the original games.
There is still a little bit of that in The Sims 4. I think part of it is that they know that everybody's modding has gotten so advanced that they don't need to put it in anymore. And the other part of it is that what they do have for wacky stuff is really buried. So there's certain furniture items that you can place outside, and if you interact with them a certain way, you can crawl through a tree and find all these mythical areas that don't exist in the game. So there's a bunch of weird, really hidden content where if you don't know how to get into it or if you accidentally stumble upon it is really cool. Kind of similar to like the clown painting.
That is neat.
Yeah.
I miss good Easter eggs. It's funny because now it
Right.
feels like a lot
Yeah.
of them are just trying to harken to the old days. One of my favorite ones is every Sims game, every game of Civilization, because we mentioned that earlier. I'm thinking about it. If Gandhi spawns on the map, he has a 1 in 100% chance of being nuclear Gandhi.
What is nuclear Gandhi?
So originally, when the first Civilization came out, Gandhi was supposed to be set to always be peaceful, so he had like the least aggressive possible stat. But the game wasn't programmed perfectly. So there were some modifiers that could get rolled. And because he was already set to be minimum, if he got any of the negative modifiers, it would underflow and make him the most aggressive he could possibly be. So
That's
he would
so fun.
immediately be like, "Yep, I'm declaring war on you. Here come the nukes." And that's been like a running Easter egg in that series is just,
That's
oh,
so funny.
Gandhi's in this world? Okay, do we have the good one or the bad one?
That is so funny. That is my new favorite thing. I now want to play
Yes.
Civ just to find nuclear Gandhi.
Oh, if you want to play Civ, we can play Civ. I do enjoy Civ.
I'm in.
That is a time suck game, though.
Yeah.
Good.
I always say I want those and then I play them and I'm like, I'm bored. So we'll see.
Civ's cool. There's a lot to do, and there's a lot of ways to play the game. Just don't play with Paradox Muse.
Why is that?
He's sweaty.
Is it like a multiplayer? Like, is it like a competition?
I
don't know
mean,
anything about this game.
it can be. So I think you can, if you do alliances, it's whoever you can win as a group. But if you don't do alliances, like regular, just a bare basics game, it's whoever's last standing.
How long is an average Civ game?
Probably like 12 hours.
Ooh.
Yeah, I could get into that.
And then you have the crazy people who are like, yeah, I'm gonna try and win in the next like 40 minutes. And I'm like,
Just declare
no.
war on everyone and try their best.
Those are people who are like min-maxing and
Ah,
they've figured out every single mechanic in the game and how they are going to completely and totally take advantage of it.
switching the
mean-
question of, oh, go ahead, Phoon.
Oh no, I was gonna say, it reminds me of like when I was playing CK3 with two friends not from this server. We just kept destroying my friend's brother's life. He'd get married, his wives would just die, his children would perish. He had no idea what was going on because in that game you can also do the same thing. Like you can either work together or go against each other. So he's like, I keep having children and they just keep disappearing. We're like, we have no idea why. It was like a 4-hour game. And he's like, I can't advance. And we're just like, sorry. But that's all I wanted to say because it makes me laugh to think about.
On this episode of the dark side of cozy gaming.
Right. When did
I did have I had
go.
one game I was gonna bring up real quick, just because I was when we were coming up with the idea for this episode, and I was trying to think like, what cozy games do I play? FTL I would probably put on there, which is a weird one.
What is FTL?
FTL is like it's a little like pixel based game, but you or piloting a ship and you're trying to get a message to the Alliance and you have to run from the rebels. But like every time you jump to a system, usually you get into a little fight, but you constantly are pausing time to be like, oh, I'm going to make decisions to do this and do that and do this and move this guy over here. And it definitely falls into the realm of like that kind of time sucky kind of game. I should pull up a game of that later, just because it is kind of, y'all might enjoy it. It's a fun one to have open on the side.
Yeah. It's like Balloon Tower Defense.
Yeah.
Do love
But
some good Balloon Tower Defense.
But it's another, like, it fills the cozy game and the fact that it's usually not stressful.
I feel like by that logic, Baldur's Gate 3 is almost a cozy game.
I could see it.
It's not.
It's not, but that same logic of like, there's less stress. You can pause before you do any activity. You're not like having to move quickly.
I will tell you the main reason I don't classify Baldur's Gate 3 as a cozy game is because I don't know if any of you guys have done an honor run. I do this thing where if I get nervous, like if my body's excited for some reason, whether it's nerves or sometimes I get it when I'm like yelling for like when I'm watching my sister play sports and I'm really nervous, but I want her to do well, like that kind of excited nervousness or just straight nervousness, I shiver and I shake pretty bad. The amount of times I'm sitting in the honor run playing Baldur's Gate and my hands on the mouse doing this, or my body is actively convulsing because I was so scared that we were going to die. That is not a cozy game. I have a lot of stressful memories attached to that one.
Okay.
Should put you in a Minecraft hardcore world.
No.
No thanks.
I don't get anything for that. I got golden dice at the end of the Baldur's Gate one. I would just suicide in the hardcore world.
What if I go buy you a trophy?
No.
I won't even play survival mode. I'm gonna be honest. The second something tries to attack me, I'm like, I don't like this. This is why I like to fly.
Vibes. So do you guys see cozy games as something that continues to increase throughout the years, or something that is just kind of there as another? I'm trying to figure out how to structure this question how I want. Like, do we see an increase of this? Do we see more coming out at a higher level and a higher rate than we're seeing now, or is it continue to be kind of what it's been building as?
I mean, I think yes. Part of it is like everybody's stressed. And for a lot of people, a cozy game is a really good stress relief, a little bit of an escape. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like we have more of a rise of small developers making a lot of indie games that are pretty cozy. And I feel like that'll continue.
Because Phoon, didn't you say Stardew Valley was created by one person?
Yes.
That's sick.
He's amazing. There's like really no words to how I feel about one person creating that entire game, because the reason it took so long for me to play it was that in my head, even though so many people were like, oh my god, it's like so great, I was like, there's no way one person's making this game. It can't be that good. It's not gonna like do anything for me. Like Harvest Moon was like pivotal to my experience. I was like, there's no way it could be equal or better. And I was very, very wrong. He has done a great job with the game recently. If you follow along with like the fandom, they released a Stardew Valley cookbook, which I just bought today, and it's become super huge. But yeah.
First fused. Wow. Words.
Wow.
The first few versions of Minecraft were all done by one person.
Wow. Ow.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Phoon? What do you think for the future of cozy gaming?
I'd say yes, I agree very much with Gil's takes, that it could be like a stress relief. And I also think that in general, from what I've been able to see with the games that I play, a lot of cozy game creators like people to do things like mods and take it into their own hands, and they promote like creativity. So I think that's just going to get people to keep participating in any way possible and really take some like power into their own hands to produce some really awesome things. And I think also just within recent years, I'm not sure how much Knox and Gil have felt this. Maybe Zach, you felt the same. There used to be some types of stigma specifically towards like female gaming back in the day. When I was like maybe in middle school, I used to think of it just besides like, you know, your basic Nintendo games, gaming is just like Call of Duty shooters. I think
Mhm.
that feeling and that you know, just mindset has really changed over the last couple or so years. So I feel like we'll see more of it. There's just more options for people, less stigma.
I would
I
agree.
think
And I know, like, talking about, we had a whole episode talking about being women in a seemingly male dominated hobby in gaming. And I know personally, I've experienced a lot less of the stereotype in recent years. I also think that's thanks to not really leaving the server very often. I have my community that I love and I don't traipse outside of it fairly often. But I would agree with that. I think it has gotten better. I think there's been, I don't know, I think social media has pushed the narrative too that it's not just Call of Duty and it's not just Halo and it's not just this, it's it's okay if you're playing The Sims and it's okay if you're playing Overwatch and it's okay if you are playing Call of Duty. It's very much, there's a lot more, it seems, I think of TikTok. It seems more perspectives and more experiences have been shared in recent years to push a more equal and inclusive narrative of what this community on a wide scale is like. But returning, oh, Zach, you might have had a take before I turn it back to specifically cozy games.
I don't think I need to. No, but I think cozy gamers are gamers. We're all gamers. Let's go
Gamers.
game.
Gamers. Yeah. I'm excited to see where cozy games go because I want to really get into one. So, Gil and Phoon, if you find one that you think really, I know Phoon's really on me to play Stardew.
Listen, we have to. And there's like multiple reasons why we have to have a server one. One is so we can all be like the town hoes. I'm 100%. Zach needs to play this so I can steal Zach's wife. It has to happen. I don't care if he cries about it. It needs to happen in my lifetime, or else I'm just going to be really upset. I'm not going to live up to my full potential unless I can do that. So you need to play Stardew. Everyone in the server, mostly everyone in the server, needs to play Stardew. But I do think you would actually enjoy it, Nox. It's just a lot of layers, like Shrek.
Did you know
Like,
that I own it?
no,
Get on
Wow.
it.
There's gonna be a fight later.
It is on my Switch, which is probably why I haven't played it.
well, I
Oh,
will say the PC one. I mean, there's just so much more, and the updates on the PC one. The Switch is really nice and convenient, but the PC one's better because you can mod it, and there's so many like beautiful mods you can put on the game, and some that are just like pure chaos. Like there's a mod that turns everybody into Clint except Emily. So yeah.
I love. Well, you can
No.
keep trying to convince me later. So, starting to wrap up our discussion today, I usually say tonight, but as you can see by our backgrounds, it is actually daytime, which is crazy. I don't think we've ever recorded one of these while the sun is alive. But we usually finish off our podcast with our real world segment where we share something about us that's usually unrelated to gaming. So, whether that's music we're listening to, movies we're watching, TV shows we're watching, books we're reading, whatever it would be, big things you got going on. Because Gig and Phoon are our guests, Zach, you get to go first.
oh God.
Haha!
Oh, why would you do this to me?
Haha!
I made a nice little set of purchases a few days ago. Sad story behind it though. I live close enough to a small electronic shop. So think like Radio Shack back in the day. Back when they still existed. But this was it was a really nice little local place. They were 2 floors. I only found them a few years ago. So they actually downsized during the pandemic, and it was like 2 massive floors, and they downsized down to one. And then they announced last week that they were like, "Hey, sorry, we know it's been 75 years that we've been open, but we have to close. We're done." But I did go over there. I wanted to check out and see what was left at least, and kind of send off a little farewell. Gonna miss them. I would love going into those types of shops because there is just fun things you can find. I did make a couple of purchases because I wanted to at least give them a little support while I still can. Um, they did have some good deals. I got 5 display cord cables for $5, which is
Nice.
pretty nice. Got a nice new Klein tool. So, nice things like that. But there were a few others that I've been into that I've really had fun in. I'm not gonna remember the name of the one in Sun Valley that was like an electronics recycler, but they were cool. The one I like to talk about is Apex Electronics, which is in Burbank, because they do electronic recycling and air part recycling, aircraft part recycling.
Hmm.
So it'd be really funny. You'd like walk through their building and it'd be all these boxes just filled with random parts. And then they'd have an outside area, and like half of it would be stuff from power plants, and the other half would be torn apart aircraft.
Hmm.
But it's just a fun little world to be in, and just kind of
Yeah,
go
absolutely.
experience for a bit. What about you, Gil?
Um, Honestly, the most exciting thing I've done recently, we finished Game of Thrones. I won't give any spoilers for anyone else that's late to the game like I was. I loved every second of it except for the end. I have never been more upset in my entire life in a way that a show ended. I feel like the whole show was so complex and so unexpected the entire time, which is what I loved about it. And then the end wasn't. So I'm still coming to terms with that.
Curious
But
question: how fast did you watch it?
um so
Over a while, because
I
I
wasn't watching
remember,
it alone, yeah.
you you came over to my apartment in August,
Yes.
and we watched a couple episodes, and I know you might have backtracked to watch with your boyfriend,
Yeah. Well,
but
when we started watching it, kind of every spare second that we had, we spent watching it, so we flew through it. Which I like. I feel like it's easier, especially with a show like that where there's so much to keep track of, to have something from season 2 that they're kind of hinting towards me being like, "Oh, I watched season 2 last week," instead of a few years ago. So, I did kinda like sailing through it, but I wish the end was different.
Long story made very, very short. When I decided to watch it, 8 days before the series finale premiered, I said, I'm going to do this Game of Thrones thing, and I'm going to catch up in time.
My god.
So I watched the entire thing over the course of 7.5 days.
Wow.
And it was funny because everybody was so disappointed, and I didn't love the ending. But a lot of the things people complained about, I was like, no, she was actually kind of scary and crazy the entire time.
Oh, that part I'm okay with.
she was.
Yeah.
She was kind of scary and crazy the entire time.
But
I
that was
was
a big
not on
thing, at
her
least at the
team from the
time.
get-go.
That was a big thing at the time that people complained about.
Oh, for sure. Well, she's the beloved character.
She is.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll stop vaguely talking about characters from Game of Thrones.
I'm
Hey,
just gonna
Zach.
say, don't name your children after characters until like, or your pets. Don't name your children or your pets, or get tattoos of characters until like
Twos are a
the
big
series
one.
ended. Like, just wait a little bit. There's so many like children out there probably named Khaleesi.
Oh,
Probably not the best thing to do.
Misa.
Advice.
Phoon, what do you got going on?
So mine is video game related, just because I'm excited for it. I am making a bunch of people who have given consent in the Discord into The Sims, and we're gonna have a little reality show. I don't know what's gonna happen yet, because who knows? But yeah, I'm just really excited about that.
Whoop, whoop.
Me, I'll go last. I went and saw Hosier. Sorry, Gig.
Yeah, you did.
I saw Hosier. It was awesome.
Mm,
I loved it. I loved every second of it. It was awesome. And now I'm currently on my crusade to get people from the Discord to go with me to see 21 Pilots. Because I know I talked about that album last episode, but I was rapid firing my stuff last episode. So I'm going to talk about it again. It is my new ADHD hyperfixation. The album has been out for like a week. I know every word. I love it to pieces. Please go listen to Clancy. And if you're not familiar with the lore that goes along with it, learn that too. It's really cool. Been
and
listening
in
tell
a
you
to
what-
couple
lot of music.
months, we'll be seeing Noah Khan.
Noah Khan!
Ooh.
Yes. All my concerts this summer. So many.
Did I tell you the first review of the Hosier concert I got was actually on TikTok?
Huh?
I saw it before I talked to you.
From Grand Rapids?
Yeah.
What about it? What did you see?
Oh, I'd have to bleep all of the things I heard about that concert.
Okay.
It was a very interesting TikTok review.
He's a wonderful man. Anyway, that finishes our real world segment. So, all right, everyone, thank you for joining us today, and we really hope you enjoyed our discussion. We release these episodes weekly, but if that's not often enough for you, we're often available in the Snowflake Sanctuary Discord server. If you want to offer your own insight, have any ideas for what you want to hear, or just think that we sound like a cool group of people, then click the link in the description. It'll take you right to us. Thank you again to Gig and to Phoon for joining us today, and thank you to you for listening to us. And we hope to see you in the next one. Bye! Yes, the two hands. I got another one. Yeah! Zach
All the way.
refuses. I do this all the time. Jazz hands.